It's official. The Miami Dolphins locker room just exploded, and we're not talking about a bad practice or a missed field goal. We're talking about a nuclear-level meltdown that has sent shockwaves through the entire NFL establishment. When franchise quarterback Tua Tagovailoa stormed into that war room and unleashed pure fury on team executives, nobody knew what to make of it. But sources close to the situation are now confirming this wasn't just an emotional outburst. This was a calculated declaration of war. The Shedeur Sanders to Miami rumors weren't just gossip anymore. They weren't whispers in hallways or hot-take merchant fever dreams. This was real. Boardrooms were buzzing, cap sheets were open, agents were circling like hawks. And somewhere inside that Dolphins facility, Tua snapped. Not a press conference smile, not a carefully worded statement drafted by PR. Pure, unfiltered eruption. According to multiple insiders, what started as a closed-door meeting turned into the kind of raw, shaken confrontation that happens when a $200 million quarterback watches his team flirt with a newer, shinier future while he's still in uniform. The fallout is just beginning. Let's rewind a bit, because this story has layers that go deeper than anyone expected. Tua Tagovailoa wasn't supposed to be fighting for his job in 2025. He was supposed to be the cornerstone, the face of Miami's rebuild, and the poster boy of their offensive revolution. But behind those carefully managed press conferences and highlight reels, something darker was brewing. Here's what's really going down. While Tua was recovering from his latest concussion concerns and trying to prove he could stay healthy, Miami's front office was already playing chess 3 moves ahead. Sources familiar with the organization reveal that owner Stephen Ross had been obsessed with Shedeur Sanders since his college days. Not just interested, obsessed. The kind of fixation that keeps billionaires awake at night, calculating marketing dollars and global brand potential. Meanwhile, 300 miles away in Cleveland, the Browns were clutching Sanders like a crown jewel, completely unaware that their rookie sensation had become the center of the most explosive tampering scandal the league has seen in decades. Sanders wasn't just a quarterback to these franchises, he was a walking, talking economy. Jersey sales through the roof, social media engagement that dwarfed established NFL stars, and the cultural gravity of the Sanders family name pulling corporate sponsors into bidding wars. But here's where the story gets devastating for Tua. According to people close to the Dolphins organization, the pursuit of Sanders wasn't some recent development. This had been planned for months. War room sessions that ran past midnight, cap specialists fine-tuning models, and marketing directors sketching rollout campaigns as if Sanders were already their quarterback. One executive allegedly told colleagues, "We're not trading for a quarterback, we're buying an empire." The most chilling part? Tua's own teammates were starting to whisper. Wide receivers like Tyreek Hill were reportedly telling anyone who would listen, "If we get Shedeur, defenses won't know what to do with us." The fracture was visible. Half the locker room whispering about a new era, the other half bristling at how quickly the organization was willing to turn the page on their leader. The betrayal was complete. First, major revelation, 400 words. But here's where it gets even more explosive. The moment Tua discovered the truth wasn't through some leaked report or social media speculation. He walked in on them. Sources confirm that Tua arrived at the facility early for what he thought was a routine film session, only to find the war room packed with executives, cap sheets projected on walls, and Sanders highlight reels looping endlessly on every screen. The confrontation was immediate and brutal. Witnesses described the scene as surreal. A quarterback who just months ago was paraded as the franchise's cornerstone now storming into a closed-door meeting and daring the organization to say the quiet part out loud. "If you want Shedeur, then tell me to my face," he reportedly demanded. "Don't play both sides." His voice carried down hallways, pulling staffers from their offices. This wasn't the carefully crafted image of Tua the leader. This was Tua the betrayed. One veteran staffer described the air as static, like a storm building pressure before lightning splits the sky. Another called it exactly what it was, Tua's line in the sand. What followed inside that war room was a spectacle of divided loyalties that would make a soap opera jealous. On one side sat Stephen Ross, the billionaire owner who sources say barely flinched during the outburst. Ross had already made his position crystal clear the night before. This franchise needs Shedeur Sanders. In Ross's mind, Tua's eruption didn't change the mission. If anything, it confirmed it, proving that the current quarterback could feel pressure and break. But that's not even the most shocking part. General Manager Chris Greer, caught in the middle, reportedly urged the group to manage the optics, warning that alienating Tua in public could destroy their leverage in any potential trade talks. His words fell flat against Ross's impatience. One executive quoted Ross directly, "Optics don't win rings, Sanders does." By dawn, strategy sessions had shifted tone completely. Executives weren't just sketching out trade packages anymore. They were crafting damage control scenarios. How do you keep Tua on the field if Sanders slips through? How do you hold the locker room together when half the players believe a revolution is coming and the other half feel betrayed? The empire was cracking from within. Then came the nuclear moment that changed everything. Word of Tua's eruption spread across the league like wildfire, and suddenly this wasn't just Miami's problem anymore. This was a constitutional crisis that threatened the very foundation of how the NFL operates. Sources close to the federal investigation, yes, you heard that right, federal, confirmed that league investigators were quietly tasked with tracking the chatter. Insiders say they combed through media leaks, monitored back-channel communications, and flagged potential tampering violations that could reshape the entire rookie wage system. Commissioner Roger Goodell, briefed directly by senior advisors, understood the stakes immediately. This wasn't just unusual, it was destabilizing. Here's what nobody's talking about publicly. If Sanders could be ripped away from Cleveland before he even hit his stride, what stopped deep-pocketed franchises from raiding rookie contracts whenever they pleased? League executives were split down the middle. Smaller market owners demanded swift intervention, with one AFC executive snapping, "If this goes through, nobody's safe." Big market billionaires will turn the rookie system into free agency with training wheels. But the most devastating revelation came from an unexpected source. Primetime himself, Deion Sanders, was reportedly working back channels on both sides of the chessboard. Multiple league sources insist his fingerprints were already visible on the entire operation. His ties to Dolphins owner Stephen Ross weren't new, but the depth of their communication during this period was unprecedented. If you're finding this as mind-blowing as we are, smash that hype button right now because what's coming next will completely change how you see this entire scandal. We need your support to keep bringing you these explosive insider revelations that the mainstream media won't touch. Meanwhile, rival teams weren't just watching from the sidelines, they were in full panic mode. In Buffalo, Sean McDermott convened an unscheduled film session less than 12 hours after reports surfaced. "This is not Tua," McDermott allegedly muttered while watching Sanders' tape. "This changes everything." The Jets, Patriots, and even teams outside the division were scrambling, with one executive admitting, "If this happens, we're playing for second place." The arms race had begun, and Tua's eruption was the starting gun that sent the entire league into chaos. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about precedent that could shatter the entire NFL system. What we're witnessing is the potential collapse of competitive balance, the destruction of the rookie wage scale, and the birth of a new era where billionaire owners can simply buy their way to championships by poaching talent before contracts even mature. The cultural implications are staggering. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback, he's a brand, an economy, and a marketing machine that generates 9-figure revenue projections. Corporate giants are already circling like vultures. Sneaker companies have floated ideas for a Sanders line blending his father's primetime legacy with Miami's vibrant aesthetic. Beverage brands are pitching South Beach collaborations. Streaming platforms are in quiet talks about documentaries following his rise. But here's the devastating truth. This trade talk has exposed the ugly reality of modern professional sports. Players aren't people anymore. They're commodities, assets to be moved around boardrooms by men in suits who see dollar signs instead of human beings. Tua's emotional breakdown wasn't just about losing his job. It was about discovering he never really had one to begin with. The ripple effects are already being felt across the industry. Sources confirm that other young quarterbacks are now questioning their own security. If a franchise quarterback with a $200 million contract can be discarded this easily, what does that mean for everyone else? Player agents are reportedly having emergency meetings, discussing new contract language that could protect their clients from similar betrayals. The most chilling part, this is just the beginning. Insiders claim that if this trade goes through, it will trigger a domino effect that could reshape the entire league structure. Small market teams will be forced to become development programs for big market franchises. The draft will become meaningless, competitive balance will be dead. Even the media landscape is shifting. Networks that once celebrated parody and underdog stories are now salivating over the ratings potential of Sanders in Miami. One television executive allegedly said, "If he's in Miami, every week is an event." The soul of the sport is being sold to the highest bidder. What started as one quarterback's emotional eruption has become a referendum on the future of professional football. And the scariest part, nobody knows how to stop it. The phones are still ringing. Executives are still scheming. Sanders keeps his head down while his father works the shadows. And one truth looms larger by the day. When the announcement finally comes, it won't just be about Tua or Shedeur. It will be the moment the NFL admits its old rules no longer apply. Sources close to the situation confirm that this is far from over. Behind closed doors, lawyers are preparing not just for trades, but for lawsuits that could drag on for years. The league office is walking a tightrope between preserving competitive balance and embracing the spectacle that could generate billions in revenue. But the biggest question remains unanswered. Will Tua's eruption be remembered as the moment one man stood up to a corrupt system, or as the tantrum that accelerated its collapse? The answer could reshape not just the NFL, but professional sports forever. The machine behind Shedeur Sanders isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. And with each passing day, the stakes get higher, the pressure builds, and the potential for complete systemic collapse grows stronger. This story is far from over. The real explosion is still coming.